They say the gods choose their champions. They lie. The gods consume them. And the man who carried fire in his veins, he was terrified it wouldn't be enough. Terrified he'd burn out before the real burning even began. My name is Elijah, Tishbite, prophet of the unseen God. Or maybe just a madman shouting curses into a drought. 3 years since rain kissed this dust bowl called Israel. 3 years since King Ahab decided gold statues made better gods than the one who formed the dust itself. The land bleeds thirst. The people bleed despair. And the fire inside me, it whispers, now. The call came not in thunder, but in the silence that followed the locusts. A stillness so profound, it screamed. Go, stand before Ahab. Tell the peddler of lies his little rain god, impotent. Tell him the drought ends only when I say it ends. Tell him the Firewalker walks again. The fire flared, hot and sudden behind my ribs. Fear, colder than mountain snowmelt, followed it. Standing before a king drunk on power and Baal's sweet lies? That wasn't prophecy. That was suicide. The fire roared, demanding. The fear whispered, run. Hide in the wadi. Let the crows have the bones of this land. This power? It's not a gift. It's a branding. Forged in the wilderness, fed on loneliness and locusts. It itches. It burns. Sometimes, in the quiet watches of the night, I wonder if it's him, or just the sun finally cooking my brain. They call me Firewalker. They think it means I command the blaze. They don't understand. I house it. I wrestle it every waking breath. One slip, one moment of doubt, and the vessel shatters. What then? Scattered ash on the king's polished floor. A cautionary tale for the next fool God tries to recruit. Samaria, jewel of the north, stinking jewel now. The stench of desperation hangs thicker than the dust. Empty cisterns, hollow eyes, and the temples. Oh, the temples. Baal's gilded cages dot the city like pustules. That's where he would be. Rimmon, high priest, chief sycophant, keeper of the golden calf's ledger, smiling while the kingdom starves. His faith is a transaction, a comfortable lie sold for royal favor and full bellies. Mine is a knife at my own throat. He'd already heard. Whispers travel fast on the desert wind, faster than a starving man's hope. Rimmon, the serpent in silk. He wouldn't meet me with spears, not first. He'd meet me with reason, with pity maybe. Poor Elijah, the sun, the drought, it's addled him. Let us pray for you. Let us contain you. The fire coiled in my gut. Contain this, priest, charity. The word tasted like bile. His water was bought with blood, the blood of starved children, the blood of truth sacrificed on Baal's bloody altars. The fire surged, demanding release. Burn the lies, burn the gold, burn him. I clenched my jaw, feeling the heat build in my throat. Not yet. The time for fire wasn't here. The time for words was. Words that were kindling. There it was, the spark thrown onto dry tinder. Rimmon's face. Oh, the carefully constructed serenity shattered like cheap pottery. Fear, yes, but sharper, fury. The fury of a man whose comfortable world, whose very power, is threatened by a ragged truth-teller. The fire in my veins roared its approval. This is the beginning. The fear, my old companion, whispered back, this is the end. Walking into the lion's den was one thing. Lighting a fire under the lion, that was something else entirely. The Firewalker had taken his first step onto the coals. Now we see if he burns. Walking into the lion's den is one thing. Standing before the lion, after you've kicked its favorite golden chew toy? That's the kind of madness only fire in the blood makes you brave enough, or stupid enough, to try. And the look on Rimmon's face? Priceless. Like he'd swallowed a scorpion. Whole. Ahab, king of dust and desolation. He wore his crown like a millstone, his kingdom crumbling beneath him. Yet all he saw was the inconvenience of it, the lack of fine wine, the restless peasants, the noise of suffering. He craved normalcy, a return to easy lies and easier sacrifices. He craved rain not for the land, but for his vineyards. And beside him, the shadow, Jezebel, Phoenician viper, architect of this golden rot. She hadn't moved, hadn't spoken, but the air around her crackled with a different kind of fire. Malice, calculated, cold. The fire flared, hot and defensive. Troubler? I brought the warning. I was the voice crying in the wilderness while he feasted on the carcass of faithfulness. The heat rose in my throat, threatening to scorch the words before they formed. Control, breathe, the crucible. Rimmon played his part perfectly. The theatrics, the ecstatic dances, the bloodletting. O Baal, answer us. The cry rose, hour after scorching hour, mocking, desperate, silent. The fire within me didn't roar. It watched, cold, assessing. My fear wasn't of Baal answering. It was the crushing weight of their failure if he didn't answer me. What if the silence was universal? Their silence was the kindling. My altar, built with rejected stones, felt like my own fragile faith. Drench it, I ordered. 3 times. Water, precious in the drought, poured until the trench overflowed. A symbol of abundance, or a final, desperate gamble? Now, Adonai, now or never. Let the fire fall, or let me fall into obscurity. My prayer wasn't eloquent, just truth. Let it be known today that you are God, that I am your servant. Answer me. See, the words hung in the dead air. 1 heartbeat. 2. The fear screamed. Fool! Arrogant, doomed fool! Then, the crack. It wasn't my fire. Mine was a candle flame guttering in a hurricane. This was his fire. Primordial. Uncreated. Consuming. It didn't just burn the offering. It devoured the doubt, the mockery, the very stones. The heat wasn't just on my skin. It was in my bones. A confirmation so fierce, it felt like annihilation. He is rain. It fell like a flood, washing away ash, washing away Baal, but not Jezebel's fury. Her message found me, a viper's strike on the heels of triumph. By this time tomorrow, your life will be like one of theirs. The fire that fueled Carmel, gone, extinguished by a single sentence. Fear, cold and absolute, rushed into the vacuum. Carmel was a pyre. I was the ash. Jezebel's words stripped me bare. The vessel felt empty, cracked. Enough, Lord, take my life. The plea wasn't noble martyrdom. It was the whimper of a broken man. The Firewalker couldn't walk. The coals were cold ash. An angel's cake and water felt like mockery. Why save me just to fail? What are you doing here, Elijah? The voice wasn't in the shattering wind, the earthquake, or the fire that followed. It was in the sheer silence that came after. A whisper that cut deeper than any roar. It asked the question my soul dreaded. Not why did you run, but who are you now? The silence wasn't empty. It was full of the question I couldn't answer with defiance anymore. I have been very zealous. I alone am left. The lie tasted bitter. Zeal had burned out. Alone, the Firewalker replaced. Yet there was no jealousy, only a dawning relief. The burden wasn't mine alone to carry forever. The fire could be passed. Elisha's eyes held no fear, only fierce determination. Let me kiss my father and mother, then I will follow you. The fire wasn't ending, it was finding new fuel. My purpose shifted, not just confrontation, but preparation, passing the torch before the final storm. Samaria's stench had reached Jezreel. Ahab, pouting like a spoiled child over Naboth's vineyard. Give me your vineyard. I want it for a vegetable garden. Naboth's refusal was bedrock. The Lord forbid I give you the inheritance of my fathers. Ahab's face crumpled. Jezebel's eyes lit with cold fire. The fire in my gut, banked since Carmel, roared back to life. Not the fire of divine power, but the white-hot fire of righteous fury. Blood cried out from the ground. Ahab didn't just covet, he murdered. And Jezebel, she wielded the knife with royal parchment. Ahab fell in battle, just as foretold. Dogs licked his blood from his chariot. Now Ahaziah his son ruled, a pale echo of his father's corruption, just as weak. He fell through a lattice. Instead of seeking the Lord, he sent to Ekron to Baal-zebub. Fool. The fire stirred, not for showmanship, but for finality. No grand confrontation this time, just a quiet pronouncement of inevitable consequence. The fire was a shield, a boundary marker. The time for nation-shaking miracles was passing. The focus was Elisha, and the ending I somehow knew was coming. A double portion, not for glory, for the burden, for the fight still ahead. My heart swelled. He understood. He was ready. You have asked a hard thing. The fire within me agreed. It was time. As we walked and talked, the air grew thick, charged. The familiar heat surged within me, not as a struggle, but as a welcoming current. This wasn't an end. It was an unveiling. Stay here, I told Elisha, testing his resolve. Gilgal, Bethel, Jericho. Each time his answer, as the Lord lives and as you yourself live, I will not leave you. The moment stretched. The fire wasn't just in me now. It was around me. A chariot of fire? Horses of fire? Words fail. It was pure incandescent translation. The vessel, the cracked clay pot that had carried the divine spark through doubt and fire and flight, was finally being released. No struggle, no fear, only ascent. The Firewalker walked into the fire, not consumed, but completed. The coals became wings. The burden lifted. The calling fulfilled. I looked down one last time at Elisha, clutching my fallen mantle by the river's edge. The fire lived on. He stood alone. Elisha, holding the rough wool mantle, still warm, perhaps, with the echo of the fire that had carried me away. The Jordan flowed, impassable. The company of prophets watched from afar, doubt etched on their faces. Was it real? Did he catch it? The crack of the mantle on the water echoed the crack of divine fire on Carmel. The waters parted, not for a weary prophet, but for his successor. The fire hadn't died with the Firewalker, it had doubled. Elisha lifted the mantle, not Elijah's anymore, but his. They called me Firewalker. They thought it meant I commanded the blaze. They were wrong. I carried it. I wrestled it. I feared it. Sometimes I felt it burn out. But the fire, the true fire, it was never mine to command. It flows from the unseen one. It finds its vessel, a flawed prophet, a young farmer, anyone who dares to answer the call in the silence after the storm. It doesn't guarantee triumph. It guarantees a struggle, a walk on coals. But walk it does. Through doubt, through kings, through fear, through death itself. The fire walks on, in Elisha, in the remnant, in the whispered truth that outlasts every gilded lie. The Firewalker is gone, the fire remains, and it will have the last word.